In today's video, I want to chat to you guys about the top 10 lessons that I learned in 30 years of entrepreneurship. Good day, my name is Heinrich Huvier. I'm the owner of VC Accounting Network and I've had this business since 2008, but I actually checked in my diary in November 1993. I opened up my first business bank account, so it's been 30 years that I've been an entrepreneur, and obviously over these 30 years I've learned a lot of different lessons, and that is the purpose of this video today. I want to share with you guys my top 10 lessons that I learned as an entrepreneur in the past 30 years. Maybe before I start with the talk, remember just to give the video a like and remember to hit the subscribe button, and then let me down to my computer, and then I can share what my top 10 lessons is that I learned in 30 years of entrepreneurship. Yes, so my top 10 lessons in 30 years. And I think, just starting out, like I said, November 1993, I opened up my business, my first business bank account. But before that, my first business venture actually was earlier in that year. I only matriculated 1992. After that, I couldn't find work. I started working at a chemical factory. And the first thing that I did as an entrepreneur, before I actually formalized anything, is I used to sell peanut butter and fake Nike t-shirts. And that was my first business venture. For the guys that do not know, it's never too small to start. So that was just something interesting that I wanted to throw out there. Fake peanut butter and fake Nike t-shirts. Here we go. So the number 10. I think my top 10 is not in any particular order. It's just as I had the ideas and the stuff that I jotted down. And obviously I'm starting right at the beginning. And I think the first thing for any entrepreneur, guys, if you can start young, start young. The advantage that you've got zero overheads. You're probably still staying with your parents. You've got zero responsibilities and you've got big dreams. If you think about the business that you're starting, I think back then my very first business, the one that I referred to, I used to be a driving instructor. So in November 1993, I opened up my first business bank account. And the advantage that I had is I was competing with guys that were making a living out of driving instruction. I only stayed with my parents. I only had my car to pay, I only had my insurance to pay. Within a year, I bought my second vehicle cash. Within 2 years, I bought my my third vehicle cash. And I think after that, I paid off my car. So I ended up with my driver's school having 10 vehicles. I had 2 trucks, 4 cars, 2 motorbikes. We had offices. I had like 10 guys working with me at one stage for the driving school. And the reason why is because I started early. And my overheads, like I said, if you start young, you've got a big advantage. You're not in the position where you have to earn like 40 or 50,000 in a month just to keep the boat afloat. You can start with zero overhead. So guys, the younger you can start with a business, you must do it. I want to really encourage you guys to start young. That's probably, maybe for some people, that might be your top number 1. I think number 9, I think this is a very sensitive one, and I wanted to put this one in, is never sacrifice relationships for money. I think this is such a touchy subject. If you think about clients, I mean, it's so easy to take a shortcut in something, but if you take a shortcut, that thing is going to backfire. And somewhere down the line, that client is either going to give you a bad referral, or you're going to bump into that guy in a shop somewhere, and you're going to have to face that guy again. So relationships, guys, with clients, make sure don't take shortcuts. It's not worth sacrificing a little bit of money that you can make for a relationship with a client. Okay, next one, family. I've seen over the years how many families have been destroyed because of money. Yes, so guys, don't do business with family. I know it's difficult, and I know family wants to help you and stuff, but it's not good. Don't do that. It's not worth going down that road. They say the problem with family is, let's suppose you employ family. You as the person employing that person, you always have high expectations from that guy, because you think his family, you think is going to have your best interest at heart. So you think you're going to over-expect from that guy, and the chances are that he's going to under-deliver, because from his side he's thinking, I'm working for my mom, or for my dad, or for my uncle, or for my aunt, and because it's a family relationship, they think they can get to do the minimum and get away with that. So guys, don't mix family with money. And then I wanted the last point over there, partners. I think over the past, I've had my accounting practice since 2008, and I think over the past 15 years, I've only seen it twice where people are successful in partnerships, maybe 3 times. So guys, normally it doesn't work, especially if you're going to partnership with a friend. If you're going to partnership with a family, don't go there, guys. If you want to do that, make sure that you tick all the boxes. Go see a lawyer, make sure that you get your shareholders agreements and all that type of stuff in place. But I want to advise you guys, don't go into partnership with people. No, that's not right. You can go into partnership with people, but make sure that you do your homework right. Never do it with friends, never do it with family. Number 8, debt. I think this is another big one, is how much is enough? And closing the circle. The problem with debt is that it binds you down. It doesn't give you freedom as an entrepreneur to explore different things. So let's say, for instance, the next point that I said over there is never live beyond your means. And we'll touch a little bit on good debt versus bad debt. Let's say, for instance, you start a business and you all of a sudden you start making 40,000 Rand a month. Now you decide, because I got 40,000 Rand, go buy myself a Fortuner, buy myself a new flat, and whatever it is that you want to buy with the 40,000 Rand a month. Now you're committed. You can't earn less than 40,000 Rand because you have to pay those debts, the stuff that you finance. So your arms are cut off. There's no wiggling room. You can't try anything else because you're committed to that type of stuff. On the YouTube channel, you'll see I did a free finance course. Go check it out. I spoke probably about an hour long on this topic about closing the circle. The idea about closing the circle is answering the question, how much is enough? So you literally draw a circle around the stuff that you need for you to survive on and say that is what you're going to stick with. You're not going to increase the circle. Then the idea is that any excess that you have coming your way, you can then use those finances to do other type of stuff, to start new businesses, do rapid debt reduction, and all that type of things is what you can use the excess money for. Guys, you need to answer the question, how much is enough if you're entrepreneur? And I think maybe this is a bonus here as well. And I've said it so many times to my clients, is never live out of your business bank account, because you don't know how much money you're taking. If you fix your salary, say you're only going to take 20,000 or 50,000 Rand a month, then you're giving your business a chance to survive, or actually to increase. But if you don't do that, then you run into trouble, because the problem is that circle is ever increasing. The more money you get, the bigger that circle becomes, and you're never going to have enough to satisfy your desires. So be careful. Just quickly touch on good debt versus bad debt. So bad debt is everything that pulls you down and holds you down, that gives you that thing that you can't get out of that thing. Good debt is if you apply for finance, to start a business, to buy business vehicles and stuff. So any debt that you incur to produce income is good debt. But if you produce debt that doesn't produce income, that's not good debt. So just be careful for that one over there. 7, pricing. Oh man, when you start a business, this is one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of guys do. You only have one chance to set your pricing. And my son made a similar mistake quite recently. We decided that he wants to do coaching of a specific sport. Somebody approached him and said, listen, can I come for coaches? He says, yeah, I'll charge you 100 Rand per hour. I'm just using that as an example. Now, the problem is everybody knows that only charges 100 Rand per hour. So you can't go increase his prices, because this is what he committed to. So you need to make sure, especially when you start your business, it's so easy just to try and grab onto straws that's coming your way. And the easiest way that you think to get the work is to underprice. That is the biggest mistake that you make, because the problem that you've got is, let's say, for instance, you charge a service for 100 Rand, and in 10 years' time, you charge for that same service 1,500 Rand. Now, the problem is the guy that you started with 10 years ago, it doesn't matter how many increases you give that guy, you're never going to get to charging him 1,500 Rand. So at the long run, you're going to end up losing those clients, and you're going to have to disappoint them, because for you, it's not going to be worth doing that specific service for 100 Rand. So I think pricing is a really, really important thing when you start your business. I think I made a note of you to say hesitation on price. So if you price your products, there's a thing where they call value pricing. You can maybe go look a little bit into that, but you need to make sure that the people understand the value that you're giving to them, and determine your price according to the value that you're adding to those people. And so if you're pricing somebody or giving a price for something, if the guy's hesitant, whether you're charging too much or maybe like on the edge, then you know you've got your price right. If you give somebody a price and he just says, okay, let's do it, we're on, then you know that you're underpricing. If you obviously give a price and the guy says, oh, what are you smoking? You're smoking weed or something, then you know your price is out. But if you can find that hesitation point, then you know your pricing is on par for what it is that you're doing. So that's point number 7. Point number 6, giving. I think for any entrepreneur, this is a big one. I think most entrepreneurs, especially when they start, they sit with this scarcity mindset, to think that there's not enough. We go to bed at night to think we didn't work enough. We wake up to think, that we don't have enough money, we don't have enough clients, and all that type of stuff. And we need to change that mindset as an entrepreneur to say that there is actually enough for all of us. And the way to do that is to add value. So the same as that, what you guys are busy watching my videos is a way that I add value to the community. And because I'm giving away to other people, I know that I'm going to receive again on the other side. Because the reality is there is more than enough work for everybody. I think if you can change that mindset to think instead of grabbing and holding on as tight as possible to everything that comes your way, to be able to open it up and say, listen guys, I'm going to give as well. It doesn't always need to be money, but your resources, your knowledge and stuff, if you give it away, it's definitely going to come back to you. So that's my point number 6. And number 5, marketing. I've seen the power of marketing over the years. I shared my journey when I just started my first business that at driving school. And in our road where we stayed back then in Kempton Park, it was a very busy road. And I had this decision whether to put up a big signboard in front of our house. And I remember back then, I'm talking probably maybe 1999, and I had the choice to put up the signboard. The signboard back then was going to cost me something like 6,000 or 8,000 rand, which is a lot of money in those years. And I decided to bite the bullet. Just from that signboard alone, I managed to create enough work for 2 instructors, just from that one signboard alone. It was a big investment, and I can give you guys so many examples of what I've seen over the past 15 years. The top guys are the guys who invest in marketing. And I think just on another point as well over there is you've got to make sure that you get the right team to help you with your marketing as well. I've seen it over the years as well, where people just pump money into marketing, but they're not doing it in the right place or the right method that they're investing into marketing, and they just end up burning money without seeing any results. But if you do it in the right place, get the right people on your team, you're going to invest, and I promise you, for every 1 rand that you're going to invest into marketing, you're going to get maybe 10, 15 times the amount of money back. If you look at the top companies out there, Coca-Cola, all those guys, they spend billions of rands on marketing. So you as a business owner, if you want your business to survive for the next 10, 20, 30 years, it's not negotiable. You have to spend on marketing. It is really, really important. Next one. My 4th one, and I think this is also really, really cool. You must never stop as a entrepreneur. The first thing is, must never stop evolving. If you start a specific service and you think in 40 years time you're still going to be doing that specific service, or what you're doing, your business is not going to survive. Your business and you as an entrepreneur need to evolve. You can't stand still. If you think about the tree that's not growing is dying, and your business as well. If your business is not growing, it means that your business is dying. So you must make sure that your business is ever evolving. Next thing is learning. For you as an entrepreneur, you need to make sure that you're on the leading edge of what's happening in the industry. You must make sure that you stay on top of it, that you obviously learn all the skills that you need, because the world as we know it is changing. If I just compare the industry that I'm currently in, the accounting industry, of what it looks like today versus what it was 10 years ago, is not the same thing. So in any industry, you need to make sure that you keep on learning. And I think for entrepreneurs, you must never stop dreaming. I think dreams is the thing that wakes us up in the morning, that keeps us excited, and that keeps us on the edge. So it's really important that you guys must never stop dreaming. Number 3, consistency. And I made a note of here. I say passion is what will get you going, but consistency is what will keep you going. So I think that's really important. Passion will get you going. Consistency is the thing that will keep you going. You need to set your long-term goals for your business. Make sure that you're always the constant in any relationship, so that you are the guy that they will contact you if there's a problem, if there's something that needs to be sorted out, if there's anything that needs to be done in the specific field that you're in. Number 2, people skills. I think this is probably one of the top things, and I think that's the reason why I've got it as number 2, is people skills, guys. I've seen it so many times over the years where people are brilliant in whatever it is that they do, but their people skills suck. And because they don't know how to work with people, these guys can't get their business to work. So people skills, I've probably spent maybe 20 to 30% of my energy honing my people skills, reading books, watching videos, and all that type of stuff to increase my people skills. If you don't do this, your business is not going to succeed. One of my early mentors, Leonard Stone, he was probably one of the best business people that I knew, and he made a statement. He said, if you can master relationships, you would never ever in your whole life need to look for a client. And I want to emphasize that as well, that if you can master relationships, you would never need to look for a client in your whole life. So take that as a word of advice. You need to invest in people's skills. Now, my number 1, and I think this is my top one. If you're not a person of faith, then you can skip this one and go straight to the bonus section. But if you're a person of faith, I think my top 1 tip that I can give for any business owners, you have to make sure that you're a person of faith. For me, Jesus is the answer. Because of him, for every meeting I know I've got the favor of God upon my life. I can go into that meeting with confidence, knowing that he's got my back and he's got my best interest at heart. The next thing I'll just touch on it quickly is divine appointments. I've got so many examples of over the years how the Lord just intervened in my business. So just give an example, divine appointment. I went to the beach. We stay close to the sea. Went for the beach, for ice cream with my son. We were chatting away and I heard the guy next to me is talking with some funny accent. So I started chatting to them and they said no, that I can't remember, from Portugal or somewhere else. And they started chatting. He says, what do you do? I said, I'm an accountant. So come see me tomorrow. I need a new accountant. My accountant just can't get hold of his accountant. So those type of things, that doesn't happen by accident. Those are divine appointments. Divine guidance is the same thing. You know, many of my business projects that I've started, and like one of the businesses that I started, I actually got the business through a dream, where one night I had this dream about this business that I was going to start, and I believe that was also divine guidance from the Lord. Yeah, so if you're not a person of faith, you can ignore this point of view, but for me, 30 years worth of stripes on my back, I know this thing works. You can't use the Lord to make your business work, but if you serve the Lord and the business is a byproduct of your relationship with him, then I think you're A for a way. Now, my bonus tip, confidence. Guys, as an entrepreneur, this is by far the most important thing. You need to make sure that you're confident in what you're doing. If you're sitting in front of a client and you've got 3 or 4 different guys doing the exact same thing, the guy that's going to get the work is the one who's confident. I remember a couple of years ago, I had a client inside my office over here. I actually have 2 examples that I want to share with you quickly. The girl came to see me. She got a lead from me from Facebook for some reason. Came into my office. We were chatting away. When it came to the fees, she said, "Yo, but you are actually charging double of what my previous accountant used to charge. But because I can see that you're confident, you know what you're doing, I'm going to go with you." And I remember another situation as well. I also had a client up in Johannesburg. They decided to change accountants. They had a cousin or somebody who studied accounting, and this guy qualified as a chartered accountant. And they said, no, they committed to their family, so they're going to move their business over to that person. I think 2 months later, they phoned me back and said, no, please, they want to come back to me because this youngster is not confident in what he's doing. Today, they ask him a question, they can't answer, you're supposed to do it like this or you're supposed to do it like that. Confidence, guys, is the game changer. So confidence, I think, is the last one, and that is number 11 of my top 10 lessons that I learned as an entrepreneur and 30 years of entrepreneurship. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Once again, remember to give it a like. Remember to hit the subscribe channel. Keep an eye out for the next video.